Hey YouTube, it's Insko here. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made my newest song, Save Me. If you haven't already checked it out, my song Save Me came out last Friday. It's my first single since I released my EP back in March, but I've been working on so much new music, and this is just one of the new songs that I've been working on. I'm really happy that it's out, and I'm really happy to be finally releasing music again. I released my EP, The Drawing Board, like just as the coronavirus started, and obviously I've been working on new stuff throughout that time, and because of stuff with my label and things shutting down and stuff like that, I couldn't just like release music throughout that time. So now it's kind of calmed down a bit. I can release music again, and I'm really happy about that. But anyway, let's show you how I made the song. So this right here is the intro. There's not a lot going on, and I'm pretty sure I say that in every video that I make like this. But we have this piano that sounds like this. Then we have this background pad that's just playing one note, which is the root note to the first chord. And that literally goes all the way from the intro to the build up. Then we have this nice vinyl crackle sample. And again, that repeats for the whole thing up until the build up. Then we have this nice Insko fire ambient sample. But what this sample is it's just fire crackling, and I've muffled it. And then we have the piano melody. And that melody is actually what plays in the drop of the song. And then finally we have one more atmospheric sound, and that's rain that I also recorded, and it's muffled. And that's the intro, really simple.
It feels like I'm losing my mind, losing control. Tell me what's wrong from right.
Then for the verse slash the end of the intro, we have this reverse vocal reverb. And that leads you right into the vocals that sound like this.
Tell me why do I feel like I'm only halfway there? I need you.
And obviously, as you can hear, we have that pitch delay vocal that I always do that's in the background. But then as the verse proceeds on, the vocals get layered by harmonies.
Feels like I'm losing my mind, losing control. Tell me what's wrong from right.
I should have probably said earlier, but I'm sorry if there's any crackling going on in this video. It's because this project, for whatever reason, is just really CPU intensive, and I don't know why. All of my other songs that I've made, sometimes it would crackle, but I'd managed to fix it. This song, when you play the drop, it just completely dies, and I have no idea why. Then we have that same chords that's playing on the piano that was in the intro. And then to layer that low end, we have a bass guitar. Then we have that same pad that I was on about before. Then we have these really nice atmospheres. I love using sounds like that in the background of my songs, because if you make them really stereo, they really fill it up. And then to go with that, I have this other atmospheric sound that comes in a little later in the verse. Then we have the vinyl crackles that carry on. I just think they're a little bit louder. Then we have the fire crackle, but it's actually not muffled this time. Then the last thing for the first half of the verse is this background piano melody. Now, if we go into the second half of the verse, this is where all the drums come in. So this is what all those sound like together. And as you can hear, a lot of that is sounding really wide and the snaps have a lot of reverb on it. I also had this like one single vocal chop note play in the background too. And that kind of just pans between your ears and kind of just goes all over the place to just kind of keep it moving. Then we added some guitar chords to layer the piano chords. They really don't sound great by themselves, but they work in the full song. Then we have another sound for like the atmospheric feel, and it's this tonal ambience. I'm telling you, if you add these kind of sounds to your songs and you do it right, it will fill it up so much. And then because the drums came in, I needed to add an 808, even though there wasn't a kick to layer it with, just because that low end was sounding kind of empty. And then we have me humming, which again is another atmospheric thing, so it helps. Then we have that fire ambient sound carrying on, and we have that background piano melody carrying on as well. And that is the second half of the verse, so let's get into the build up.
Please save me, need saving. Won't you save me from myself?
So for the vocals, everything's staying the same. We have the harmonies and the main vocal, but this time we've added a vocoder, which I tend to do on like all of my build-ups.
Save me, won't you save me? Can someone save me from myself?
Then to replace the piano chords, I actually just played the root note of every chord. Initially I'd done this by accident, but then when I tried to add the chords in, it just didn't sound right, so I left it like it. But then when all the drums come in, that's when it turns into chords again. Then for the build-up drums, there's quite a lot of them, but this is what they all sound like together. So for that, we have these two snares layering, then we have a background snare, we have some airy claps that play now and then, and we also have this Kashmir cinematic drums loop. And obviously, as you can hear at the end, they start to lose their low end and pitch up. It stops it being messy as things are getting quicker, so it's always a nice thing to do. Then in the background, there's this ARP sound. And that's just going through and playing the three notes of each chord. But as you can hear, every single one of those plucks is like going between your ears, so it's really nice. Then in this section, we use just the tonal ambience, but then when the drums got quicker, we used the other ambient samples. And then obviously we have a lot of effects. I never really go through the effects because they're pretty self-explanatory. For the build-up, we have things like uplifters and impacts and stuff like that, so I'm not going to go through them. But this is the sub bass and re-bass. I really like it. It's quite plucky, so it kind of gives you that rhythm. Then we have my humming sample that carries on going. We have the fire sample that carries on going. Then we have some strings that only play when the drums come in. Originally, though, I did have them play in the empty bit, but I like to have had it in the end. Then to fill up that empty gap, we have this muffled electric guitar. And what that's doing is it's playing the root notes, but in like a plucky pattern. And as you can hear, when the drums start to come in, it opens up a lot more and it's not muffled anymore. But all of that is the build up, so let's get into the first drop. Let's start off with the drums. So this is what the drums sound like together. It's a pretty simple pattern. There's not too much going on. We've layered the snares 3 times. Then on every other snare, there's like reverse reverb that goes into the next one. I've layered the kick drums twice like I always do. We have a punchy kick and then an acoustic kick. We have some toms, crashes, hats, all that stuff. It's pretty simple. So next, let's look at the lead for the drop. As you can see, there's quite a lot of automation going on. We have some reverb automation and we have some pitch bending, and I'm thinking of doing a pitch bending tutorial. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see that. Then we have volume automations of 2 of the layers. Then we have this EQ automation that's doing nothing because originally I had it muffled and then I didn't like it. But this is what the leads sound like. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail with everything, but it's layered 3 times. One of them is this vocal sounding lead that I had in Serum. And then the other 2 are electric guitars that I had in Contact. One's on 1 octave and the other's on a lower octave. And as you can hear, the one that's on a lower octave is more muffled because I just kind of wanted the low end and that low mid section for it. Then next up, we have the chords. They honestly aren't that interesting. I've layered them 3 times, but this is what they sound like. And as you can hear at the end, the EQ kind of just makes it high end. But yeah, nothing too special about those. The sidechaining rate doesn't change or anything. We don't have any pitch bends going on. Very simple, but I like it. Next up, we have the sub bass and the respace. Honestly, the respace, because it doesn't just have low end, it plays such a part in making those chords more full. But that's those, nothing too special about those either. Then we have the 2 atmospheric samples that played in the verse. Along with my humming, it made it to the drop. Then I found this nice voice drone sample that sounds like this. And I made that go between your ears and it just fits really well in the background. But that's basically the drop. It wasn't anything too technical. For me, the challenge was to just get everything mixed nice and make it sound all clean. In most of my other songs, I do vocal chops where I cut up the vocals, pitch it up, make it distorted and play around with it. But this time I came up with that melody right at the beginning and I just really liked it. So I decided to just mess around with it and I ended up using it. There was actually one thing I missed. We added this ARP on the second half of the drop. Now that's everything.
It feels like I'm losing my mind, losing control. Tell me what's wrong from right.
We have this little bass drop that I made. Even though it's kind of like a sub dip because it goes down and then comes back up again, but hey. Now for the second verse, not much has really changed. The only difference is instead of adding the snaps later on with some other drums, we've just added the snaps straight away. Then later on in the verse is when all the drums come in and this is what they sound like together. Really simple stuff again, but my favorite thing about this was this reverb snare. All I did was just record the snare that I had on here, but just gave it like a shit ton of reverb. Other than that, everything else comes in at the same time. That's where the guitar chords start to come in. Everything's basically the same. Now for the second build up, literally nothing has changed other than one thing, and it's this double bass that I added in the background to layer the sub and the res. Then if we look at the second drop, funnily enough, nothing really changes. The main difference is that it muffles and then comes in rather than just coming in straight away. So on the first drop, it sounds like this. You know, without all the crackling. And then this one, it sounds like this. Again, without all the crackling. And then the only other difference is that the ARP that played later on in the first drop comes in straight away on this drop. And then finally, we have the outro. Yes, I added an outro. I didn't just end the song. And that's probably the most basic thing out of everything. We have the vinyl crackle. We have the fire sample. We have the rain sample. Then we have that counter melody that played in the verse. Then we have this nice low drone sample that I found. And then we have the piano chords and outro melody. And the biggest thing to note in the outro is that the BPM actually changes. So I never do this with my songs, ever. What I've done is I've automated the tempo. So at the moment it's on 115 BPM. That's the BPM of the song. But then as the outro plays, it slows down to 100. So if you listen to the piano, it's actually slowing down as it's playing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my song Save Me. It's out now on Spotify, Apple Music, this YouTube channel, and my SoundCloud. It's also available on like Google Music and Amazon Music if anyone uses them. But yeah, I'm really happy with this song and it's nice to be putting out new music again. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, remember to hit that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications because I upload new music related content every single Monday at 7 PM BST. But my name is Insko. Go stream the song. The links are in the description and have a good rest of your day.